Okay, welcome to the stream, everybody. Let's see if we can get a game here. I'm going to start with the Sicilian. Oh, the old wing gambit. Okay, well, that'll be a wake-up call. Is he going to play A3 now? So I can take back with the bishop here. Now, where's a good spot for the bishop? If I put it here, it'll get kicked again. Yeah, he wanted to play that move anyway, so... There. Get a one pawn in the center at least. Okay, now the problem piece is this knight here, huh? Okay, I have an idea. Put the knight out here. Pawn here, maybe. Oh, we'll see if he chops it off when I put it there. He can check me on this diagonal any time, but I can block with the bishop or the knight. Now let's develop the knight here. Now when I castle, there's a danger he will just take this knight. So let's do this. And the knight can go here. If he takes it, the bishop can take back. And funny position, huh? So he decides to just take it now. That makes it so I can't castle. But otherwise, not too much advantage to that move. Yeah, I keep wanting to castle. So I can put the pawn up here. I can defend it. I guess putting the pawn here, knight here. His knight can come here. Let's step out of the pin. Oh, I need to defend the knight first. Let's see. Best defense is over here, I think. I could actually castle queenside in this position. I don't know if that's advisable, but it is a possibility. Probably I'll move my king to the king side, though. So I put the queen there. Trying to make my king side uncomfortable, but I don't see the queen has much future there. My bishop is doing a pretty good job of guarding this square. How can I get more force? I can bring the knight in. I can trade it off. So it looks like his plan is to bring both knights in. So let's bring this knight around. Didn't want to put the queen on this diagonal here because of this bishop could step in here and skewer. Although I have a knight protecting that square, so it is possible, I suppose. I was thinking maybe I just kick the bishop. So the king. Yeah, let's kick the bishop. He'll go back there. Yeah, let's step up with the king so that this pawn is not pinned. I can take. Okay, he went there. So I put the rook here. Oh, no. Do this first, and then I'll put the knight here. Yeah, so that knight is hanging. I mean, that rook is hanging after I put the knight there. Doesn't have many good squares, and I can chase it with my queen. Anyway, this is totally a weird way of playing, but the wing gambit is something that can generate some play for white in most cases. And I don't know, I'm not familiar enough. Hello, Timo, welcome to the stream. I'm not familiar enough with this gambit to really refute it. He blundered the queen for a rook, and then you got the queen back. Yeah, you do that. I think we just chase that rook until it leaves our neighborhood. I've got a protected passed pawn now. He doesn't have the light squared bishop anymore, but he does have two knights. That's quite dangerous. Okay, we'll take it. And then let's grab this pawn. So now, no, let's go here. Keep the queen out of this square. You can put a knight here. Hey, Blade Master. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, he can take my bishop. He can put the knight here. Maybe that's what his idea is. To try and dislodge my queen. Oh, so he's not putting the knight there. See, if I push this pawn all the way, it becomes a queen, right? So why don't we do that? Yeah. I was expecting that move, but I was hoping it didn't really lead anywhere. He is short on time, yeah, so I've finally maybe refuted this. We'll see. Yeah, he's going to keep playing. Okay, put the queen there. Don't know what that does. Maybe he's going to try and gang up on this pawn. I won. White ran out of time looking for the solution. So if we go to the analysis board and back to the beginning, that was quite a game for a first game. Let's do the computer analysis. Wow, there are lots of circles and so he had an advantage here. So going back to the beginning, let's see, is this visible? Just barely visible. I need to be able to see the graph, and then I can tell you what's going on as I step through the game here. Okay, so this is a Sicilian, and he plays the wing gambit, which is not losing right away. It just gives the slight opening edge to black. And I took, that's okay, and then I played this move. That was weird, but apparently playable. Keeps that same, slight advantage for black. My idea was that the bishop can take back. And so he should not have taken. He should have developed his bishop, put pressure here. Okay, but he took. Even so, it's still good for black. So all this is good for black. And here I took. I should not have taken. What should I have done instead? Didn't give me an alternative. But yeah, developing the knight. Oh yeah, develop the knight because you're hitting this pawn. That would be okay. So anyway, now we're back to even, and he can develop his bishop here like in Scotch gambit. Pretty interesting gambit here. So I'm still better, but it's getting dicey. And so I came up with this idea of playing d4 to not be all cramped. And d5. He plays that, means pushes the pawn forward. And then I played, okay, yeah, I was trying to figure out how to develop the knight. And at that point, I'm giving up my advantage. So what's the move? The move here is just develop. Not worry about this guy so much. Maybe this bishop will wander off the diagonal, and if you put enough pressure here. Just develop the other side. Okay, so this was, I thought it was a little bit strange, but anyway, it's not losing, but it's giving the opening advantage back to white. And then when he took, then it becomes even again, because he really didn't have to take that knight. It had no great future. But anyway, he took. He wanted to keep me from castling. And so this is back and forth, but around even. And then where's the big mistakes? This move is the big mistake. Okay. So right here we have a slight advantage to white. And my next two moves are bad. So what should I do? I should develop the knight. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it's supported by the my bishop. Okay, say he does this, then I should take it. Yeah, if I get rid of that bishop, that helps me a little bit. Oh, and then I can put my my bishop here. The interesting thing is, even though I'm winning an exchange here, it still thinks it's about even. In fact, it's evaluated as 0-0. So he has enough compensation for the exchange. Anyway, so the move I played, that was a mistake, and because he can pin my loose knight. And then the move I played with the queen, that was also a mistake, because he has, yeah, he can move the rook over here. That's pretty good. And he should be winning. But then my opponent makes a couple of mistakes. Oh, what is that? Oh, that sets a line. That's not what happened in the game. He went, I went queen c7. He went queen. He went queen f4, so that was his mistake. And then he went there with his knight. That was his other mistake. So now we're back to even. And then I start to win around here. Yeah, that ill-fated sortie with the rook. And I'm winning. Yeah, interesting. Bishop b4 also frees the knight. Ah, yeah. Okay, so let's play another game. That was pretty exciting. Kingmaker didn't want to play me. Okay, let's get somebody different. Boo. Yeah, the record between us, I don't know if that shows up. Yeah, it doesn't show up. Was 3 wins for him and no wins for me. So, okay, I did a Sicilian last time, so we'll do e4, e5. So maybe you just wanted someone who was more of a challenge, you know. 3 straight wins is pretty decisive. Okay, yes, clock is still ticking. What is he thinking about? What is this man thinking? Ah, he wants to play the Scotch. Okay. This funny move. That's why I like this line on the Scotch. You bring the queen out with a double threat on this pawn and on this knight. Although in all the lines I've seen, you end up taking that knight with a pawn anyway, so I'm never entirely sure what the purpose is here. So what, am I supposed to take the queen or take the knight? Yeah, let's take the queen. Let's see how this works out. Then take the knight. So he's probably going to castle to the king side. I mean queen side. And if I castle king side, I don't know. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6, knight g5. That's the fried liver attack. What did I do? Oh no, he just took a pawn. Okay. For a second I had double vision. I thought I was losing a bishop. Yeah, when you play knight f6, you're playing the 2 knights defense. And when he plays knight g5, that's the fried liver. So you know, you have different choices. You can go with the Traxler variation if you want something really exciting and develop your own bishop and ignore the threat. Or you can play d5. That's kind of the main line. And leads to interesting play as well. Okay, so let's clog up this diagonal a little bit. Also opening lines for my bishop. Then, oh, I can get castled here. Maybe put my knight here. Be thematic. The other game had a position where the computer was recommending putting the knight where it was supported by a bishop. So we'll do it in this game, where it's probably a bad move, being how things work. Okay. Yeah, I think putting the knight there is good. He doesn't have to castle, I guess. Okay, but he didn't want me checking him, so he did go with the castle. So he sacrifices this pawn. And then what? Oh, he's going to bring his knight out here to challenge my knight, I guess. Yeah, let's put this rook where it may threaten this pawn. Aha. That's a brave decision, I see. But he gets this pawn here, huh? If I take here, he takes here. Then what? Yeah, so I thought I would put my bishop here. Just trade off that light squared bishop. Keep my rooks. It's another rook here. And push this pawn. So yeah, he's looking at this square. He got rid of my light squared bishop, but I can support this knight with a pawn too. Or I could have moved the knight, I guess. Let's see, so he managed to block this pawn, so I guess that's good for him. Where to? Where to, Sir Bishop? Could bring his rook here. Yep, that's what I was thinking he could do. There's a fork here. What's he going to find? Anything? I did open up this diagonal voluntarily just to support my knight. May not have been a good decision. Yeah, so he ignored the fork, huh? He can... oh no, this bishop is defended by a rook. I was thinking when the knight moved, the bishop would be loose, but this rook is also defending it. So, bishop check to allow fork was optional at e4. e3. Okay, now what? Ah, now I go here, right? So we can double here. 2 rooks against rook and knight and an even number of pawns. Should be okay. Should be all right. If I don't run out of time. I know. We'll put this rook here. Restricting his king to this side of the board. He's trying to do some similar restriction here. Let's attack this pawn. Okay. Yeah, he did attack my pawn. I wasn't paying too much attention to that, unfortunately. Now I can go back here. Okay. Yeah, he's going to make my life difficult with these advanced pawns, isn't he? So if I take here, he takes, it defends his rook. It's a trick that almost works, but not quite. But, well, let's see what he can do from this position. Push these forward. Oh, no, I should have walked my king up. I should have walked my king up. Shoot. Yeah, now I'm in trouble. He's got to take. But it wins for him. Taking wins for him. Ah, he didn't play it. Okay, cool. Let's bring my king over then. That's the way to do this. I'll show you the winning idea next time after the game. He's got to have a check there. How annoying that is. But I think it's okay. Since his rook has nowhere to go. Oh, my king. Okay. My king, my king, my kingdom for a king. My king is getting checked, sadly. Okay, so let's get back over to this side quickly. This may be something that's draw. Hard for him to make progress here. And I can mark time. Got to keep the king out of here. If the king walks away, then I can push this pawn, so. Yeah, I can do this now. Okay, let's think. If he pushes his pawn, I take it, and it's a draw. So he can't push the pawn. He can move the knight. He can't move his king forward. So I think I just keep marking time here. If I push my pawn, it lets him push his pawn and gives him some slight chances. Yeah, so now I have to do this. But I'm in a good position to do it at least. And then I can do this. So I get the pawn either way. Either he takes the pawn or pushes the pawn or ignores it and lets me take the pawn. But either way, I get rid of his last hope of winning. It's a draw, no matter what he plays, pretty much, as long as he gets his king close enough to my pawn. Okay, somebody new. Oh no, I was going to look at something. Not that one. I wanted the previous game. This one. So I actually got a good position here, and then I blew it. So let's go to the analysis board here. Yeah, I should be winning here. I got maybe it is tricky. But I have two rooks versus a rook and knight. So I should be winning, but I need to make sure these guys are kept under lock and key. You know what I should do? Well, I did put my rook there. And maybe I should just keep my rook there so we can't ever advance those pawns. I was just trying to do something a little more active, but sometimes active play is the wrong idea. I could also push this pawn too, or come back to defend it. Well, if I defend this pawn, he's going to get his knight to this square eventually and gang up here. So probably pushing this pawn so that I can defend with my rook. What does the computer say here? Let's click away. Click away. So yeah, -6. So that's clearly winning. It thinks I should just go back to doubling. Yeah, it was a bad idea to leave the rook out. Just let him take the pawn. Oh, because now I'm threatening to take here again. Yeah, that would bust up that pawn duo, so that would have been good. Okay, Let's turn this off and go forward in the game to... Chess is hard, yes. Yeah, so this little trick with my rook was not helping. And so we got these advanced pawns. And I had to defend. And he went back. So my king is far away. That's the difference between this position and later positions in the game. He could have just taken and pushed the pawn. So I can't take here. Say I bring my king over. And he goes here. I can take this pawn, but he queens with check. Even wins the rook. Yeah, so that's a single rook cannot defend itself against two pawns on the 6th or the 6th and 7th. So that's something my opponent should have known. So he was winning there. Yeah, +6. And should take. Computer agrees. Okay, let's play a new game. Let's see. I think I didn't. This is my first time as white in this session, so I play e4. He's playing a King's Indian attack. No, Queen's Indian. He's playing a Queen's Indian. Or the Owen defense. Oh, he plays it with the immediate c5. So it's not like a Queen's Indian. He's putting this bishop in the center. And okay, so I could defend my e-pawn, or I could push it. He will put his knight here. Let's defend. Yeah, I have been hearing about the drama at the Sinkfield Cup. Pretty interesting. Maybe I'll trade my bishop for that knight. That's an annoying knight. Oh, but he put a pawn there, so no, I won't. No, I won't do that. Now I will do a I wanted to do an attack. What's that attack called? I wanted to do a Greek gift sacrifice, but he's not letting me. Speaking of not letting me, he really didn't want me to take that knight. Okay, check here. He takes back with a knight. So I can't do the Greek gift anymore. What can I do? Maybe I put the wrong knight here. I assumed it was going to get traded when I put this knight here. The other knight needs to be there. Okay, is he going to take here? I take back, he takes, I take. I think it's still adequately defended. Oh, he's going to do that. Okay. Locking in his own bishop, but gaining a foothold on the queen side. If he wants to push the d-pawn, he has to push it now, because I'm going to put my knight here and then go here again. Anyway, I think it's the stuff that's going on at the Sinkfield Cup is very tricky. So, you know, I don't know if there's any way to prove if there was cheating going on or not, but in any case, whether there was cheating or not, the Hans Niemann's reputation has been damaged for sure. And speaking of damage, I was talking and not thinking about this pawn. So, and because there's no way to prove that I know of, there's no way to prove whether there was cheating or not. It seems like it's a bad thing. Could have just taken the knight. I mean, the rook. I will take it. There's a pin here. He's not going to give up. Okay. He's going to, yeah, let's trade rooks. Okay, queen here check looks pretty devastating. Anyway, yeah, Ria Prendes was playing really fast. And he got into this trouble of his own accord. Okay, he resigned. See, he's still got 4 minutes left. I have 3 minutes left. I was playing fast too, but he was playing really fast. This is all normal. I mean, it's kind of a wacky opening, the Owen's opening. I played it myself. I think keeping the center is the good. Oh, the gist of the drama is that Hans Niemann, I think his name is, was a up-and-coming young player from the U.S. who was invited to the Sinkfield Cup as like a wild card. And he was... and now I can't get rid of this knight, so I probably should have gone here. He was invited to the Sinkfield Cup as a wild card, wasn't expected to do all that well because it was his first time at high-level competition, but he'd been improving rapidly and studying hard, playing lots of games. He played like 200 or 300 games in the last year. At over the board games too, high-level over the board games, but not against elite competition like this. Anyway, he faced Magnus Carlsen in the third round and beat him. And after he beat Magnus Carlsen, then Magnus Carlsen withdrew from the tournament. And he said he wasn't going to make any comments because he didn't want to get any trouble. Right? So he's pretty much saying, well, I think he's cheating, but I can't prove it. So I'm not going to say anything. Anyway, Hikaru Nakamura commented on his channel about it too, and seemed to imply that Hans Niemann was cheating. But I looked at the game. I was curious. I looked at the game with a chess engine, and there were streaks in there where all the moves were matching engine moves. So maybe he was cheating, but it wasn't like 100% matching. There was blunders on both sides, and just more blunders by Carlsen. Or I shouldn't call them blunders at this level. They're inaccuracies or something. So I have no idea if he was cheating or not. Could have been not. But because of all these rumors and innuendos swirling around, certainly his reputation has been damaged at the very least. No, it was an over-the-board game played in St. Louis. Slow time control. Over-the-board classical slow time control game. And, you know, it's a very elite event. The Sinkfield Cup pays lots of money. So Hans happened to have studied this very rare opening that Magnus used. Interesting. So yeah, I think at this point he's just losing the knight here somewhere or other. Oh, but he managed to save it that way, yeah. So this is all okay, I would say. Then here, yeah. So what should I do here? And what is my... Yeah, I'm doing good here. I should just bring the knight back. Oh, I think that's what I did. Yeah. It was when I moved the knight away. Yeah. I should have left the knight there. And, oh, just more pressure here. Okay. Yeah, it defends this pawn too, so then the knight can go here. Oh, it's still a bit of trouble for white. Like if I try to put my knight here now in this position, he can still trade. And when I take back, this is loose. So this pawn here is still a problem regardless. I just have to go more slowly. I just can't jump my knight the way I did. What is it recommending? It's recommending, oh, he's going to triple on this file, and I should play on the queen side. Huh. Interesting. So yeah, I was just obsessed on getting a piece on this square. Such a good square, but it's not the right plan in this position. Someone opined that since Magnus is same age as Fischer when Fischer went nuts, his genius is catching up with him. No, I don't think it was paranoia. You know, you get a feeling when you're playing someone if they reel out a string of perfect moves that you're not really playing a person. And, you know, who knows how it's happening. Certainly, yeah, I know Fischer did... think that the Russians were cheating using electronic surveillance and stuff. But anyway, I mean, I can understand why Magnus would have the feeling he was cheating and why he would withdraw. But and he didn't, you know, he didn't accuse Hans of cheating. He just made that kind of cryptic remark. And like I said, I don't know if Hans was cheating or not. So that's where it stands. I figure, you know, my plan is to just see how Hans does in the future, you know. If he continues to play well, then he's just Magnus. He got lucky in his game against Magnus, caught him out in a variation that he knew a little more about. You know, that can happen. So, but I don't think Magnus is being excessively paranoid either. Wesley So beat him? Yeah, afterwards, right? After all the drama with... after all the drama. So what I think is that you can't really count these games right away. But I mean, watch what happens, I mean, the next few years. Wrong button. Here, new opponent. Because, you know, he's not going to be in a good psychological state after all of that stuff was being said about him on the internet.